Did you know Taiwan has politicians throwing punches? A festival that blasts fireworks at you. And during typhoons, people head out and belt karaoke songs. Whew, yeah, this place doesn't work the way you think it does. I'm Jacob, a Taiwanese American who has lived in Taiwan for more than 10 years. I reconnected with my roots, traveled all over the island, got married, and have a little boy with my wife. I'll take you somewhere new each episode while I share my insights about Taiwan. Taiwan is kind of insane in a magical way. Some things make a lot of sense, other things make no sense whatsoever. And sometimes, both are true. So here are 10 things in Taiwan that feel crazy, but somehow make sense. Number 1. Taiwan's politicians fight like it's a bar brawl. Let's start with this. Taiwan's politicians don't just argue, they fight. And I don't mean yelling, I mean full-on physical fights. People grabbing each other, shoving, tackling, jumping over desks, throwing shoes, chairs, objects, water bottles flying across the room, pulling hair, throwing fists. It literally looks like a bar fight, except this is the Taiwan government. And this isn't some rare one-time thing. This has happened multiple times over the years. Different parties, different issues, but same result: chaos. Sometimes it's over laws, sometimes budgets, sometimes just straight-up disagreement. And imagine this. You turn on the news expecting boring politics. Instead, you're watching grown men and women in suits wrestling each other to the ground. It's wild. But here's the interesting part. Even with all that, Taiwan still functions. The system still works. Things still get done. So it's chaotic on the surface, but underneath, it's still stable. Which kind of sums up Taiwan in general. When I first moved to Taiwan, I barely understood the politics. Even now, more than 10 years later, it still feels complicated, layered, and constantly changing. Taiwanese people can seem very reserved in everyday life compared to some Western cultures. Polite, careful, face-saving. People usually keep emotions controlled and opinions restrained, which stands in contrast to societies where open expression is encouraged. But when politics enter the scene, an entirely different side emerges. Suddenly, it becomes loud, emotional, chaotic, aggressive, and almost primal. Fists fly, chairs soar, threats escalate. All the tension finally erupts in plain view. And if you think that's crazy, wait until you see the next one, which takes things to another level. Number 2. Taiwan has a festival that shoots fireworks at you. There's a festival in Tainan, Taiwan, where people launch thousands of fireworks directly at you, not into the sky. It's called the Beehive Festival. When I say you're in it, I mean you're engulfed in the explosions. People gear up. Helmets, scarves, jackets, gloves, fireworks streak everywhere. You hear a relentless barrage. Pop, 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 like a battlefield. Sparks striking your body, ricocheting off your helmet, blazing through the night. The wildest part? People crave this. Getting hit is said to bring good luck. So, rather than fleeing, they move closer. You'll see crowds standing their ground, taking hits, laughing and recording. It's deafening, chaotic, intense, frankly, borderline insane. But it's also among the most renowned festivals here. It feels like the kind of thing I would have done in my 20s, back when I first came to Taiwan. Back then, I was curious about everything here. The louder, stranger, crazier it was, the more I wanted to experience it. With a 4-year-old son, yeah, no way. Still, part of me kind of gets it. If I were 25 again, standing in the middle of the smoke and fireworks with a motorcycle helmet on, I probably would have thought it was amazing. Even with crazy stuff like this, life in Taiwan still feels normal. Now, let's move on to the next thing. Number 3. Taiwan is constantly shaking and nobody cares. Taiwan gets earthquakes a lot. I grew up in LA, where earthquakes are rare compared to Taiwan. Back in LA, we might get an earthquake once a year, but here in Taipei, it feels like every other month we get an earthquake above 4.0, and often it's 5.0 or higher. And if you've never experienced one, the first time is not fun. You're just sitting there, and suddenly the ground moves. The building starts shaking, the lights sway, things rattle. Your brain goes, "Wait, what's happening?" But in Taiwan, people barely react. Unlike in many countries where even small tremors cause commotion. Look around. Everyone stays calm. Maybe someone glances at the lights, checks their phone for an earthquake alert, and casually says, "Okay, that was probably a 5," before going right back to work. That's it. No screaming, no panic, no one diving under tables. Earthquakes are just part of daily life here. And honestly, after living here long enough, you start thinking the same way. You begin judging earthquakes like weather. Small one? Ignore it. Medium one? Pause for a second. Big one? Okay, maybe now we pay attention and decide if we should head for the stairs. My mind instantly calculates. Because after the massive 1999 earthquake, Taiwan significantly upgraded its seismic building codes. Modern buildings are exceptionally reinforced. Honestly, more comparable to Japan than what most foreigners expect of Taiwan. And earthquakes happen constantly here. Literally, just 2 weeks ago, we had another one. Most of the time, life just keeps moving. People finish lunch, go back to work, kids stay in school, and the MRT keeps running. After a while, you stop seeing earthquakes as some once-in-a-lifetime disaster movie moment. In Taiwan, it's just Tuesday. Number 4. Taiwan turns typhoon days into karaoke parties. When a typhoon hits Taiwan, everything shuts down except karaoke and convenience stores. Schools close, offices close, people are told to stay home. Outside, heavy rain, strong winds, and flooding in some areas. It's serious. But inside, some people go to KTV, karaoke TV. Think about that. There's a storm outside. Trees are falling down, power lines are crashing, motorcycles are turning over, and people are like, "Yeah, let's go sing." We book rooms, order food and drink, and sing for hours. We call it a typhoon party. It's mostly a thing for our 20s and 30s. People treat typhoon days as surprise holidays. It's funny when all 3 KTV floors are booked during a typhoon. It's like, yes, the world is shutting down, but we already made plans. I always thought typhoon parties were wild because once you went out, you were basically committed. The typhoon would hit, the rain would start coming sideways, the streets would empty, and suddenly you were stuck wherever you were until it passed, which sometimes meant staying out all night. But honestly, that sense of commitment was part of the fun. There was something almost magical about it, being young in Taiwan. The whole city changed. Schools and offices shut down, everyone watched storm updates, scooters vanished, convenience stores filled up, and outside, the world sounded as if it were being ripped apart by wind and rain. Meanwhile, inside various KTV bars, people belted out karaoke with friends, sipped drinks, partied, slurped instant noodles at 2 a.m., and simply weathered the storm together. It felt chaotic, cozy, and weirdly exciting all at once. And if you don't like KTVs, 7-Elevens are always open for people to hang out and drink during typhoons too. And honestly, that leads perfectly into this. Number 5. Taiwan never sleeps. Taiwan basically never sleeps. Night markets stay open till midnight or 1 a.m. The last MRT subway in Taipei leaves Taipei main station at midnight. In major cities, buses run till 1 a.m. Want food at 2 a.m.? No problem, plenty of options. 4 a.m.? Still open. Late night or early morning, there's always something open. Restaurants, shops, food stalls, convenience stores, delivery apps, KTVs. the city just keeps going. Even now, I'll sometimes order Uber Eats after midnight and still have tons of choices. In Taipei, the city barely feels asleep. I used to go biking along the riverside at 1, 2, and even 3 a.m., and there would still be dozens of people out riding, many completely alone. You'd see people quietly sitting on benches or on the grass by themselves at 2 a.m., just staring at the city lights while sipping tea or drinking a beer. And the reason people can do that is because Taiwan is incredibly safe. When I studied in the US, that was honestly one of the biggest adjustments for me compared to where I grew up, where businesses often stay open late and streets remain busy. In many places in the US, everything shuts down early. Streets get empty, the atmosphere changes. But here, you always have options, and that changes the rhythm of your life. You don't feel the same pressure to rush everywhere or plan every little thing around closing times. If you need food later, it'll be there. Need to grab something at midnight? No problem. Want to meet friends at 1 a.m.? Totally normal. Taiwan's entire lifestyle just feels always on. Number 6. Taiwan's night markets are controlled chaos. Packed crowds, bright neon lights, smoke rising from food stalls. The smell hits you instantly. Fried chicken, grilled meat, stinky tofu, green onion pancakes, sweet desserts, fresh fruit juices, and bubble tea everywhere. And then there are the people. Thousands of them are moving through these narrow streets, shoulder to shoulder, all night long. Somehow, everyone flows together like a giant human river. People line up, they wait for their turn. They shuffle forward slowly through the crowd. And weirdly, it works. No screaming, no fights, no people losing their minds. Just organized madness. At first, it feels overwhelming. Then, after a while, you start loving it. The chaos becomes part of the experience. And they're everywhere in Taiwan. Almost every city has at least one major night market. Bigger cities have several. A lot of them grew around temples, so you'll often see traditional temples glowing in the background while people are buying fried squid and giant chicken cutlets at midnight. But here's the part that really surprises foreigners. With this many people packed together every single night, you'd expect more crime, more fights, more danger, more trash, more problems in general. But somehow, there really isn't. I've been to night markets across Taiwan probably over 100 times in my life, and honestly, I can barely remember ever seeing police there. I don't remember seeing fights. I don't remember seeing theft. The atmosphere just feels strangely safe. What I do remember is random Taiwan stuff. Like this one guy at Ningxia Night Market who walks around with giant pigs. And I don't mean little pet pigs, I mean huge pigs. Like 2 or 3 massive pigs casually walking through the middle of the night market while people are eating oyster omelets and bubble tea, like this is completely normal. That's Taiwan. Chaotic, crowded, loud, weird, but somehow still peaceful at the same time. And then, after a while, you realize something else. Night markets in Taiwan aren't just about food. They're like a nightly social ritual. Families come here after work, students hang out here after cram school, grandparents walk around together, couples go on cheap little dates here, friends sometimes meet here for some cheap snacks and beer. People aren't rushing to leave. They just wander, snack, talk, and exist together. And maybe that's why the atmosphere feels different. It doesn't feel aggressive. It feels alive. At midnight, while most cities around the world are winding down, Taiwan still feels wide awake. Steam rising into the air, scooters buzzing past outside, temple lights glowing red in the background. Someone yelling out food orders, some kid winning a stuffed animal at a claw machine nearby. It's loud, it's crowded, it's messy, but somehow, it feels comforting. And the craziest part? A lot of these night markets don't even really start getting busy until like 8 or 9 p.m. At 11 p.m. on a random Tuesday, entire families are still outside eating sausage skewers and shaved ice like it's the middle of the afternoon. You'll see old grandmas running food stalls with military-level efficiency, scooters squeezing through tiny alleyways, teenagers crowding around claw machines, tourists taking photos of everything. And somehow, through all of that noise and movement, people are still incredibly patient with each other. And honestly, once you leave the night market, the weird Taiwan experience still isn't over. Because the second you walk back onto the street, there's something else waiting for you on basically every corner. Bright lights, automatic doors, that little ding-dong sound, and suddenly you realize Taiwan might actually be powered entirely by convenience stores. Number 7. Taiwan has more convenience stores than you can imagine. Taiwan is obsessed with convenience stores. We have over 14,000 of them. 7-Eleven, Family Mart, High Life, OK Mart, Simple Mart. They're everywhere. And I mean everywhere. In a big city, you walk a couple of minutes and there's one. Walk another minute, there's another. In Taipei, it gets completely ridiculous. Near my house, there's a 7-Eleven right next to a Family Mart, another 7-Eleven across the street, maybe 30 meters away, and then a third 7-Eleven down the road about 100 meters from that one. Foreigners look at this and think, how can there possibly be this many convenience stores? Crazy? No. Crazy convenient. Because Taiwanese people love convenience. But the reason there are so many is that they're not just stores. They're basically mini life support centers. You can pay bills, pay your income taxes, print documents, ship packages, buy concert tickets, pay parking tickets, grab full meals, get surprisingly good coffee, buy hot tea eggs at midnight, and sometimes even order a draft German beer in an actual pint glass. The only thing they're missing is laundry service and a KTV. And locals know the funny little Taiwan tricks too. Like if you get a speeding ticket, you technically have two choices. Pay it at the government office and get points on your driving record, or quietly pay it at the convenience store where it's often treated more like a simple fine. Some people practically live off convenience stores here. And honestly, you probably could. They're clean, organized, reliable, air-conditioned, safe, and open 24/7. And the coffee? A lot of Taiwanese people think convenience store coffee tastes better than Starbucks, and it's way cheaper. At this point, convenience stores aren't even stores anymore. They're part of Taiwan's infrastructure. Now take that level of convenience and multiply it by 10. Number 8. Taiwan is one of the safest places on Earth. Amid all this chaos, Taiwan remains one of the safest places in the world. It's consistently ranked in the top 3, often even safer than Japan. Women can walk alone at night, no problem. Leave your stuff, and it will still be there. Lose your wallet, and someone might return it to the nearest police station. There's a level of trust here that feels safe. When I buy breakfast in the morning, I'm expected to leave the money on the counter and grab my own change from the change bin. Purse snatchings are unheard of. Home robberies, unheard of. Car theft, unheard of. At most, a nice bicycle could be stolen, but the chances are not high, and it is uncommon, especially compared to many other places. It's one of the things people notice right away. You see people riding bikes alone at 1 a.m. by the river, and it's safe. Single women can walk down an alley at night and feel completely safe. You see kids walking to school without their parents. Now back to something weird again. Number 9. Claw machines and KTV booths are everywhere in Taiwan. Taiwan has a full-blown obsession with claw machines. And I'm not talking about a few arcade games in the corner of a mall. I mean entire stores packed wall to wall with them. Row after row of flashing lights, anime figures, plush toys, snacks, electronics, mystery boxes, random household items. Basically anything you can imagine stuffed inside a claw machine. And it's not just kids playing either. Adults get really into it. Some people treat it like a strategy game. They study claw strength, prize angles, and machine setups. There are people here who genuinely think they've mastered the art of claw machines. What's even crazier is how deeply this culture has spread into Taiwan's economy. When a storefront business closes down, there's a decent chance it'll suddenly transform into a claw machine store a week later. You'll see them everywhere, even inside famous night markets like Rauhe Street Night Market. At this point, claw machines have basically become their own micro-business ecosystem. People can rent individual machines or spaces in stores and run their own mini claw machine business with their own prizes. Last I heard, renting a machine space was somewhere around $150 to $200 a month. It's honestly one of the most unique things from Taiwan ever. And then there's the KTV booths. If you spend a full day wandering around Taipei, chances are you'll run into one sooner or later. They're everywhere. Department stores, hotel lobbies, shopping malls, outside restaurants, maybe even near MRT or train stations. They're basically mini glass soundproof karaoke pods that fit 2 people, maybe 4 if you squeeze in. For you middle-aged folks out there, imagine those old-school payphone booths from the 80s and 90s, except 4 times bigger, futuristic-looking, and with a full karaoke system inside, complete with microphones, headphones, touchscreens, and tens of thousands of songs. You can usually pay with cash, a credit card, or even an Easy Card. And the weirdest part? These things aren't a temporary gimmick. They've been around for nearly a decade, and they're still making money. I've only used one once myself. Honestly, for me, it feels a little awkward singing in the middle of a department store lobby while random strangers walk past pretending not to listen. But I totally understand the appeal. Because in Taiwan, people love karaoke. And this last one, this is just pure Taiwan. Number 10. Taiwan's dogs ride scooters like humans. In Taiwan, dogs ride scooters, not in a cage, not tied down, standing, front paws up, balanced, completely calm, wind in their face, like they've done it 1,000 times. And the owner? Just driving like normal. No big deal. The owner gets on the scooter. The dog jumps on without the owner saying a word. At some point, you stop reacting. You just accept it. This is a world where stray dogs wait at bus stops for their dog friends before heading out together, where dogs wait politely at crosswalks for the light to turn green before crossing the street, careful to stay within the painted lines. What a weird place this is. So yeah, Taiwan looks modern, clean, normal, but underneath, there's a lot going on. Things that feel strange, things that feel chaotic, and things that somehow just work. For me, this is just everyday life. But when you step back, you realize Taiwan is wild,